It is September 10th and it is winter outside. It's a very wintry summer day. So today I'm staying inside, bundled up in sweaters and blankets and just kind of taking inventory of my seed stash. So I really started seriously gardening a couple of years ago. I would go to our local home improvement store, and any seeds that they carried there were the kinds that I would buy and start that year. And more often than not, I would just buy started plants. Didn't know what I was doing quite yet, and I didn't really have the space to experiment. It wasn't until a few years ago when we moved into our current house and we got this big yard that I really dived into the, I don't want to say obsession, art of seed saving. Like, I just can't stop. It's just I mean, I'm surrounded by seeds right now, and you don't see that yet, but you'll see in a second. It's not a problem. I can stop whenever I want. And honestly, it's not really a problem anyway, because all these seeds, they have the potential to feed me. So that's not really a problem, right? 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 Anyway, I really enjoy watching these kinds of videos because it's just a glimpse into another crazy seed saver's life, and it makes me feel normal. So hopefully I can do that for you too. Okay, I'm going to show you the organized part first. So I know quite a few of you utilize these containers too to store your seed packets. They're wonderful. Highly recommend them. These are just photo storage containers that you can get at your local craft store. I got these both at Michael's for a pretty good deal. I can link them down below for you. And so they have, oh, how many cases do they hold? 16 photo cases, 4x6 sized containers. You can see I label all of them by type. I'll show you more of that when we get to it. I have 2 of these containers because I have a lot of seeds. And some of you have sent me stickers over the years, and they are right here. This is where I stick my stickers. And then for my newly purchased or saved or gifted seeds, I have this cute little like actual seed container. It looks like from my sister. I think she got it at Michael's as well. It's like a little magnetic box that has a bunch of yet to be organized seeds. So that's where I try to keep the unorganized stuff, but more often than not, this is what my seed stash looks like. Okay, and so I have just like a bunch of Tupperwares hanging around. We've got some basil seeds in here. This is, what is this, pineapple sage, and then, oh, my knee just popped in a weird way. Oh, let's see, we have sunflower. What is, oh my gosh, there's dog food in this sunflower seed thing, and I was just like, what happened to my seeds? But it's dog food somehow, so that's fun. I'm not gonna grow dog food. That would be nice though. It'd be a lot more cost effective. Anyway, aside from dog food, I saved, we've got some marigold seeds in here, borage. I don't usually recommend mixing your seeds like this, but these two are so different that I can tell which is which. Calendula. So that's kind of what my seed stash looks like. I just have all these little like containers everywhere. Got nasturtiums in here. Oh, there's some bunching onions that I saved. Yep. So this is just kind of how it works, where I have all these little packets that I make and fold and fill with seeds, and they just kind of get thrown in here. Oh, this, I've actually been looking for this book. This is a great book if you want to learn how to make sourdough. Just a side note. And then I also have TV trays that I've set up with spaces to dry the seeds that I fermented for a couple of days, like tomatoes and melons. So that's just kind of what my house looks like right now. Okay, and so how I usually do this is I go through and I just start looking through these boxes and making a note of things that I'm running low on, things that I save the seed packets of to show that I'm out. I know I did make notes, if not on Instagram, in my garden journal, on how think all of the things grew in my garden this year. So I'll have to go back and look at those and reference that and see if I want to actually like repurchase things like this. I know beans did horribly this year, and I don't think it's because of the seeds. I don't think it's because of the weather. I think it's because I directly sowed them in a raised bed that I recently top dressed with compost, and in that compost we had a bunch of roly-polies, and so they just snacked on these little bean sprouts the entire time. I planted like 3 different sowings of them. So note to self, don't try and direct sow beans in Colorado. It just didn't work. So I'm not going to count these out, so I'm going to stick this aside. I'm going to try and take these out gracefully and show you, or I guess I could just take the camera. And I have all of my containers alphabetized. Some of them have multiple containers. Like you can see, I have a bush bean, a pole bean container, just because they're a lot bulkier than others. And then I have overflow beans. So basil beans, brassicas, carrots, chard corn, cucumbers. This one is not supposed to be there. Flowers, gourds, greens, herbs, kale, and lettuce in this container. This is an overflow one that goes into the other one. Mostly flowers. I have a lot of flowers. So I'm just gonna scooch back here, get comfortable, and just kind of go through and see what I want to get more of, and what maybe I don't want to keep around and I can trade for other things that I do want. And so I know I have a lot of basil. So I have Genovese basil. A lot of these are from seed swaps. I love seed swaps. Opal purple basil, that grew well for me this year. Thai Siam Queen basil. The lighting is kind of weird, so I'll just have to do this. It's a pretty green basil with purple tops. Lemon basil I grew this year. This is from Elder Oaks Farm. I've grown a couple of their seeds that they've saved and swapped with me. So lemon basil is one of them that I will definitely grow again. It's like sniffing a lemon. It's amazing. More Thai basil. So apparently I didn't grow any Thai basil because I have a bunch of it in here. So if anybody wants, oh, this is from Cheryl. Hey Cheryl, my Brentwood garden. If anybody wants to swap and needs some Thai basil, I gotcha. I know I have more basil somewhere. See, that's the thing. I know I'm not perfectly organized because most of the varieties of basil that I grew this year, they're not right here, and they're probably in that pile somewhere. I don't know. They're everywhere, and you have no idea where they went. But you knew you grew them, but you just don't know where they went. My favorite basil that I grew this year was called Blue Spice basil. It smelled so good, and I suggest everybody grow it always. Let's see, I've got a bunch of beans in here now because of some wonderful friends on Instagram that sent me some of their stash because they knew I was having roly-poly issues. So I have a bunch of cute little packets from friends. So I don't think I will need any more beans for this next year because I also went and I bought some beans. They didn't come in the mail in time for me to actually plant them this year, so I should be set for next year. And so I have some from swaps, from Victory Seed Company, Baker Creek. I got these pretty dragon tongue bush beans. Garbanzo beans, I haven't tried those yet. And then these ones are black beans, just from a little packet that I got from our local Sprouts, like farmer's market store. And I grew them, was it last year or the year before? I don't remember. But I grew these directly from the bulk bin, and they grew and they produced bean pods. And so I'm gonna try that again. So things like that, I just love to experiment and try and push the boundaries a little bit. So carrots. Carrots are one of my absolute favorite things to grow. Root vegetables in general are just so fun to pull out of the ground. They require a lot of patience, but they're so worth it to pull up in the end. So I've got a bunch of different colored carrots in here. We have some for hard clay soil, like these Oxheart carrots. I grew these this year and they did really well. Little like early varieties like Scarlet Antes, Purple Dragon. I haven't grown these yet because I haven't had the perfect spot and I really want them to do well. So these will be next year's. Lots of seed swapped ones, purples, red cord Chantenay. We have one of these free seed packets from Baker Creek, Amarillo carrot, some yellow carrots. I have a lot of carrots, you guys. Look at these cute little ones. Don't let me buy any more carrots. How about that? And who am I kidding? I'm probably gonna buy more carrots. Chard, carrots and chard. That's another thing I love to grow. Hence it has its own container. I have a bunch of different varieties. It's such a good thing to plant in your garden. It grows well in hot weather and really cold weather. It takes temperature fluctuations like a champ. Anyway, I can make a whole video on chard. This is not about chard, this is about seed saving. Corn. I have plenty of corn. I don't need any, and actually, sorry, I thought I saw a spider. And actually, I will probably want to swap some of this out for something that'll actually grow. Corn just doesn't do well in our climate. And so I grew this striped, Japonica striped corn this year. It has these really pretty purple and red stripes on the leaves. It's just an ornamental corn. I have grown sweet corn before and it did okay. We got like a few ears off of it, but nothing crazy. I have a lot of it, but if anybody wants, I think mostly sweet corn is what I have, and popcorn, let me know. I'd be happy to trade for chard and carrots, because then I'm technically not buying anymore, so I'm not breaking the rules. Okay, so brassicas include things like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, cabbage, those types of things. Cold weather varieties, which I grow a lot of here because we have such a cold spring and fall. We have such a short summer season, so we usually rely heavily on brassicas. So we have some cool varieties like Romanesco, some Regicio, purple cauliflower, which I was so close to getting this year to grow to maturity, but then I think a squirrel ate it or something, but not this year. Pixie cabbage, which I picked out because it has a really short growing season. Days to harvest, approximately 60. That's a really short cabbage, so I'm gonna grow that. Cauliflower cheddar. That one is currently growing in my front yard. We have some swapped seeds, broccoli rabe, Savoy cabbage, which is that beautiful like curly type cabbage. Red acre cabbage, which is doing really well for me this year. This is definitely a grow again, but I have plenty of seeds in here, so I don't need any more. Cucumbers. I had such a dud year for cucumbers. The only thing that did really well were these cucamelons, Mexican sour gherkins. They have a lot of different names like mouse melon. These did really well and I will grow them every year. I loved them. They were so whimsical and tasty, and just I loved making people try them because they're like, what are cucamelons? And then they popped them in their mouth and they're like, what is this? So these are a grow again. I have just a few seeds left, so I may need to get some more of these if I can find some. What is it? Lemon cucumbers. I grew a lot of these starts and then I sold a bunch of them or gave them away, and I forgot to save any for myself. And so I had to go out and buy a start from our local gardening store, and then it just didn't grow. And so I got no cucumbers this year, no like regular eating cucumbers. We have a lot of flowers. I do not need any more flowers. Gourds. This is one of my favorite things to look at too, because there are so many different types of gourds, like birdhouse gourd, loofah sponge, Zucca gourd. Look at, if you can see, look how cool those seeds are. They look like those little like egg pouches that, what is it? Stingrays? Manta rays? I don't know. One of these like sea creatures gives off like egg pouches that look like this. I'm not crazy, okay? This happens. I need to get up because my legs are falling asleep. Maybe I'll take you out and you can see kind of how gloomy and gray it looks outside. I am up in our upstairs. I guess it's technically a bedroom, but it's like this huge great room that we use as like our guest room and like gathering space. But here, I'll show you. It has this upper porch that I can look out and look at all the birds. See the garden. So everything is still pretty gray right now. It's trying to spit out more snow, but everything actually looks okay. I thought everything was gonna die, but I mean, the bushes kind of got a hard hit. The zucchini and stuff back there obviously didn't make it, but I'm really happy to see that the trees kept their leaves. I know last year we had an early freeze and they all just dropped all their green leaves. Okay, my foot is not asleep anymore, so let's move on. We have a lot of greens. I know this for a fact. I mean, it's full, but we have a lot of things like mustard greens in here, spinach, things that aren't lettuce are in here. Things that I actually haven't even heard of, like corn salad. Has anybody ever grown Dutch corn salad? Is it like a, what is that? Okay, I don't need any more herbs. Kale, lettuce, more than enough in here. One that I'm really excited to grow next year is this tree lettuce. Have you guys ever heard of this? It grows up really tall and you just kind of you pick it off of the stem and it grows up just like that. That's fun. I love growing things that you can't find. Oops. Alphabetize this, right? I love growing things that you cannot find in a grocery store. It's so fun. Okay. Next. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's the flower one. Whoops. I'll put that up here. Okay. This bin, we have melon miscellaneous, onions, peas, peppers and eggplant. I don't have a ton, so I combine those two. Pollinator garden, radishes, roots. I have a bunch of radishes, hence they're separate from. And we have summer squash, winter squash, more winter squash. I love winter squash. Sunflowers, tea garden, so things like calendula and mint are in there, chamomile. Tomatoes, and then more flowers. So this is actually where this container needs to go. I think I need to reassess which long day onions or intermediate day onions I have left. And so I attempted to grow these flat of Italy onions, and I'm not sure where I went wrong, but they ended up more like red beard bunch onions. Maybe I grew these accidentally. Either way, I got really tasty onions. They were just a lot smaller, so I need to reassess and see how many long day type onions I have. It's important to choose the right onions for your climate. So if you're more southern, you need to grow short day onions. And if you're in northern climates like I am, then long day onions or intermediate day onions are going to be your best bet. Summer squash and tomato. No, I have plenty. Oh, plenty of tomatoes. Look at that. You're not supposed to be in there. These were really fun to grow this year. Taste-wise, meh. They were okay. Don't try them raw, I'll just say that, because then it makes you want to barf. But anyway, these were really cute to grow, and they were a fun talking point. It's fun to grow things just for fun sometimes. Okay, so I need to reassess squash, specifically summer squash. I know I planted out a bunch of them this year, and I also grew a bunch to give away and to sell at the beginning of the season, so I know I am probably short on a few of my favorite varieties, but I did order some later in the summer before, like these are ones I didn't even get to plant out this year, but so we have this really pretty striped one from Baker Creek that I'm excited to plant next year. One that's called Cocozelle from Victory Seed. Why did I get this? Why not, right? That's the answer. I have been raving about this yellow zucchini that I was growing this year. It surprised me because growing up I was never really a big fan of yellow summer squash. This plant was gorgeous, okay? It had these huge dark green leaves and these beautiful white variegated spots all over them. I know some people might look at the spots and be like, oh no, it has powdery mildew, but this one was a totally healthy plant. It didn't get disease at all. In fact, it's still actually hanging on down there by a thread after that snow that we just got, so it's still alive. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I should say, I don't know, it's a hybrid, so I don't know. I'll save seeds anyway and see what comes of it, but I do still have a few seeds left of that, so that's great to know. This one, it's called Claremore zucchini. It was this pretty little like gray looking zucchini. It was a really light green kind of gray color, and oh, it says beautiful pastel green zucchini with exceptional flavor and texture, originally from Lebanon. This thing grew so well. It was the very first to produce by multiple weeks. It beat out the other ones, and so this is definitely a grow again. Claremore zucchini from Renee's Garden Seeds. And then another zucchini that I grew this year that I'm going to grow again every single year, it's called Round Bryce zucchini, and it's from David's Garden Seeds, and I'll link them down below. They are a round type of zucchini. As you can imagine, they get kind of like baseball, softball size, depending on how early you pick them. I always like to pick zucchini earlier rather than later because they get a little spongy in texture and seedy if you wait too long and wait for them to get too big. And then they just have more of a like nutty flavor that I really like when they're younger. Plant was also variegated. I love variegated plants, if you don't already know. More of a light variegation. It wasn't affected by powdery mildew at all either. I know, yeah, I must have a big seed stash somewhere not here, which is both exciting and frustrating. It's frustrating because I can't show you guys some of my favorites, but it's exciting because it'll be like Christmas when I discover them. And I'm like, yeah, I get more seeds to organize and put away, and yeah, maybe I do have a problem. Okay, so apparently I need to go find the rest of my seeds, figure out where I want to put this extra box in here, put back some more seed packets, and then put all these other seed packets that I brought out, organize them back into these boxes as well. So I'm gonna have a fun day. I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like, I love doing this and I love organizing these and seeing what I have, so I actually get to have a really fun day. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and let me know what you're growing. Let me know what worked for you, and please let me know if you want to swap any seeds that I mentioned in this video that I have too many of, because I'm happy to send them your way. And if you have any carrots, hit me up.